Peace, peace. Welcome to Spears and Mike's Hip Hop Culture, Knowledge in the Streets. We appreciate all the views, all the listens. We appreciate everyone that's been supporting Spears and Mike's. We wanted to come here today to give an update on the Jay-Z situation. Those that are familiar, we made a video a couple days back talking about the Jay-Z allegations for rape. Um, and some different some new information that's come forward, and we wanted to discuss that today. So allow me to introduce my very special co-host of the podcast. We got the brother Watt Slice in the building. We got the brother Just P in the building. We got the brother Razor in the building, and we got a guest. Our brother Jabs is in the building as well. And I'm Zulu King L1. We are all from the Zulu Union. Peace.
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 So,
Peace.
yeah, so those that haven't seen, there's a video out there circulating from NBC News where they had interviewed the accuser, Jay-Z's accuser and Diddy's accuser. You know, she accused both of them of rape. And in this video, I guess it's just like her silhouette. She doesn't reveal her face, but they didn't change her voice, but she's speaking about basically speaking on what allegedly took place that day. And as NBC reported and CNN and USA Today and various media outlets have all been saying, there's a lot of inconsistencies with her report. And we wanted to just like dissect that a bit today because if we're going to talk about one thing, then we got to keep it updated and we got to be fair to you know Jay-Z. I guess a lot of people are coming down on him. A lot of people want to throw him under the jail. A lot of people saying he's guilty. Then there's a lot of people saying he's not guilty. But this information is kind of crazy. Anybody want to speak on it, or anybody seen the video?
I saw it and it's hard to believe, to be honest.
Hmm.
She's she was 13 when it happened allegedly, and now she's 38.
Hmm.
And she doesn't sound like she's 38. I don't like, it's hard to
She
say
sounded
what
older,
38
right?
sounds like. She
Yeah.
She
sounds
sounded
older.
older, right?
Like I'm in my 40s and she sounds older than me. And it sounds like she's missing teeth, to be honest. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't like
Yeah,
I'm not even trying to joke.
right,
It
right, right,
really
right.
sounds like she's and she's supposed to be autistic, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
what it's saying.
That's what she
That's
says. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like, you know
that's
what I'm
what she
saying?
said.
So
She
like,
says it.
right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. But she just sounds crazy. And then the father was saying that he has no recollection of the event where she said that he drove her 5 hours back home,
Yeah.
like that. So that's kind of weird too, that he doesn't like I would remember, like he's saying I will remember something like that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It's a significant event, like a 5 hour drive. Who doesn't remember a 5 hour road
right,
trip? You know what I'm saying?
right. Who
Just even
wouldn't?
if
Their
it was a
daughter.
road trip, if it was a regular road trip with your child, you know what I'm saying? Who wouldn't
Right.
remember that? That's something memorable, so whether it's negative or positive, it's something memorable. 5 hour drive in a car,
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm
that's like
saying?
us
So like,
driving to
Yeah.
Niagara Falls right now from
right,
Queens
right.
or
Yeah.
Long
You'd be like,
Island.
yo,
Like,
remember that? You know what I'm
Yeah,
right,
saying?
exactly.
Like
we ain't gonna forget that 5 hour trip.
I
You know what I
still
mean?
remember when when my mom and my aunt drove me to Southern Vermont College for my twin aunt who went to college there, and my mom washed somebody who was trying to bully one of my aunts in the snow in a blizzard. I remember that, and I was like maybe like 10, 9, 10 or something like that, and I remember
Mm,
that. And I'm
Mm.
right.
42, so and I remember it vividly. So
Right.
like for him not to remember that is kind of wild too,
Right.
and it just sounds shaky. It sounds like a money grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was talking to my wife about it. I had showed her the video because she hadn't seen it, and she was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And I was like, "Yo, it just reminds me of these movies that you watch or these series where like an entertainer or a celebrity will get set up. Like there's a movie called Players Ball with Alan Payne, came out like in the early 2000s. He was like a professional basketball player, and this white girl comes out of nowhere, and she accuses him of having a baby with him, and he's like, "Yo, you crazy? I never met this girl in my life." So she's like, "Well, take a DNA test," and she looks cracked out, whatever. And it was produced by Dale Davis, a former NBA player that used to
Hmm.
play for the Pacers.
Pacers, yeah.
Right. So, and Scottie Pippen is in it. It's a wild movie, but the plot is like she's like, take a DNA test. He takes a DNA test, and the baby is his. So his fiance is like mad at him, like, yo, like, how could you do this? He's like, yo, I'm telling you, I don't know her. Then the movie goes on. It comes to find out that the fiance took a used condom after they had sex out of it and froze the sperm and put it in the white girl, paid the white girl because they was gonna set him up and take all his bread. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So like
Wow.
stuff like that. I mean, I know that's a little bit far fetched from like this reality of Jay-Z, but what I'm saying is it reminds me that they're just choosing somebody. And I could be wrong. And if she's really a victim, like, feel bad and all of that, but like it just seems weird. Seems like this lawyer or whoever is like trying to like ruin this dude. And not to say that Jay hasn't had like shady business stuff in the past. Like I always looked at him like a funny style dude. You know what I'm saying? But to throw this on somebody's jacket is crazy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's really crazy. I don't believe it. I'm gonna just keep it real. I don't believe it.
You
Me
know,
neither.
what I think is interesting about it the most is she alleges that her friend drove her to this party, right? So here's my thought, right? And this is the shit that's bugging me out. You 13 years old and you had a friend drive you 5 hours from Rochester to New York City. Now, what 13-year-old friends, right? Now think about when we were 13. Anybody that I knew that was my age, if they had a car, it's because they stole it. And they was
Right.
driving it for a half hour and crashing that shit into the woods or some street and leaving it there. And
And
that
where were
was
your
very few
parents at?
people.
Where were your
Right,
parents at?
right.
Yeah,
So you
for a
go
5 hour
missing,
trip.
well, 5 hour one way,
Cause
right?
5 hour one way, then you
Yeah,
gotta
because
stay at the
the
party.
friend needing to
That's
stay
another
with her.
3-4 hours, and then drive back, which is another five
No, no,
hours
wait, no,
without
that's more and
traffic. Without
more.
traffic.
This is more than that because so if 5 hours to get to New York City for her, right?
Right.
Because her friend drove her, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Time to party,
Well,
time
time to
for
get in the
everything,
party. You had to
Time
get
time
in
to
to
the
get
get
in.
into
party.
the
Remember,
party,
she
She
was
had
right?
no
trying to get
tickets.
into the party.
She had
Right.
no
Right.
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 tickets.
Now hold on. So let's say she was just there 2 hours, right? From then, right after the party, things are done, things happen, right? She calls her father, and her father comes to pick her up. So she's waiting 5 hours in New York City for her father to get from Rochester to New York City, right? So now we're talking about 10 hour trip from when she drove down to New York, let's say an hour or two to party, 5 more hours for her dad, and then a 5 hour trip back to
That's a whole
Rochester.
damn day.
Yeah.
It's a whole day. So if she was missing for 5 hours, 6, 7 hours, right? Where are her parents? We're 13 years old. P, you got an 18-year-old. Why? I know what your eldest daughter is what, 10 years old,
Yeah.
right?
No.
About
Yeah.
that, nine
Yeah.
years old. I mean,
Yeah.
y'all are on top of y'all children. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine somebody having their 13-year-old daughter missing for 5 to 10 hours and no one's looking for her. Then on top of that, right? What my thing is with her friend driving her to this party is so if you're 13 years old, do you hang out with people that's 18, 17 years old? Because people are allowed to have their license at 17 in most counties in New York State, right? So all right, so let's say your friend's 17. Your 17-year-old friend's gonna take her parents' car for a 5 hour trip. Y'all got money for gas. Y'all obviously had to gas up for a 5 hour trip. I had a Honda Civic. I couldn't make it out all the way to Buffalo. You know what I mean? I had to stop in Albany to get gas. I ran out of gas when I drove to Niagara Falls. You know what I'm saying? So you gassed up. Y'all got money for gas. Y'all got a car that's accessible. And then where'd that friend go after she dropped you off? She drove back to Rochester off of GP. Like, yeah, all right, holler at me. You know what I mean?
You
I'm
have
good.
fun.
Don't worry about me. Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna stay awake
Yo,
for this 5 hour trip. It's crazy.
and
So I want to
there was
know
no
if
5 hour energies back then either.
Fun.
right, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
you know
have
what I'm saying?
stackers.
It right, nah,
They
it's
had
that. Yeah,
ginseng.
yeah, they had stackers. You're right. You're right. All right.
Yeah,
But peep this though, right?
Fuck with
So
the
if they say
I forgot about stackers.
the friend that drove me too, the friend that drove her to this party, right? They say she's expired. She passed away. But has
How
anyone
convenient.
looked to pull up her license information, what vehicle she had? Like, I want to know what 13-year-old has a friend that's willing to, because man, I'm telling you, like when I'm 13, I don't think I could have got somebody to walk me to the JMJ train to go to, you know what I'm saying, to go to Manhattan,
For real.
two stops away, you know what I'm saying, from where I lived in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like it just people don't want to do you no favors. Man, a 5 hour trip, that's crazy, y'all. Crazy.
Nah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, they need to look into that. Who was did she have a license? Did she have a vehicle? Like put these pieces together to see if she was actually there. You know
I
what I'm
don't believe
saying?
it. I'm just keep it. I don't.
And
It's
I want
kind
to
of
be
hard to believe.
respectful. Yeah, I want to be
It's kind
respectful of all survivors of abuse. She's autistic.
yeah.
So and that plays a factor into, things
Right.
too. We don't want to be hard on the young lady for her, if she did experience these things, we want to be we don't want to be insensitive to her story or her experiences, but it is a lot of inconsistencies. The media's all over it. Um and I think it's a wild story, it's very wild. Razor, P, Jazz, what do y'all feel?
I hear
Yeah.
there's a picture out there of Jay in like different locations than what he's accused of being. So there's definitely a lot of proof of inconsistencies as far as Jay's part. I've already seen him putting out statements getting at the lawyer, Busby, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Um there was a statement earlier from his lawyer, kind of like trying to sever or separate Jay from Diddy, Puff.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, it looks like even if she is a survivor, which I highly doubt, it looks like Jay's going to be okay. There was a little backlash I hear with Beyonce not being able to have her name on I think it's the Forbes list, like the top, like a Forbes top list or whatever, and they just listed her as Beyonce Knowles, I think, instead of Carter, and there was a little bit of backlash or outrage over that, but I think also what is it, the NFL already put out their statement saying they're gonna still work with
They
Jay.
said they riding with him, yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
it looks
I don't
like
know. I don't know this part is related, but I think that liquor brand from France or the fashion thing that they're a part of in France might be in jeopardy because of this whole thing.
hmm, that's what
There's
that,
gonna he's gonna lose support of certain things, and he's gonna take a financial hit. Trust me, it's not gonna end all well. Regardless of what, even if they
Yeah.
vindicate him, even if he's whatever, it's still this is still a crazy tarnish and a crazy blemish on his on his record. Regardless, you know what I mean?
I hope
He
it
might
does.
turn around and sue too.
Well, he's
Say it
already. I heard
again.
he might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Jaguar
suing
right. Look
Jaguar.
out.
Yeah, he's suing Jaguar.
So yeah.
Right, right. It's interesting, man. The thing is though, we'll never know. You know what I'm saying? The truth, we'll never know the truth. You know what I'm saying? But the story doesn't sound strong. And I don't know, man. It's just like I think it's very like basically so many people are fearful of dirt coming forward on them, whether their hands are clean or not, right? Or, us included, right? We got to move, like, you got to navigate these times that we're in and be very cautious of how you interact with people,
Yeah.
what you say to people. Jobs are not, they're not like gonna be tolerant of anything, right? Regardless, there'd be no proof on you, but someone could just call in and say, "Yo, this guy so and so, um, he made me feel uncomfortable." And they're gonna just sever you right off the rip, like, "Oh, word,
Right.
all right, yeah, no, we took disciplinary action. He's no longer with us." They
Right.
just wash their hands. They ain't gonna fight for you. They don't want to go to litigation. They don't want to fight for you. They just want to say, "Yeah, the information was brought forward, and we severed ties with him, so we're no longer liable." You know what I mean? Like, we didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? You got to take that up with him now. You know what I mean? So it's like now you have to really move like you on eggshells. You have to really skate on thin ice and make sure you don't. I mean, I don't even look towards women these days when I'm in a professional setting. I barely interact because you don't know. Someone could say, "Yo, that dude made me feel uncomfortable."
Yep.
I'm not
Yep.
with it. Like I got too much to lose. This ain't the era of patting anybody on the back, giving people compliments. I mean, you could give somebody a compliment and they take it the wrong way nowadays. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? So, like it's best to not even say nothing. It's best to just close, not even look at somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now,
But I think what they were hoping for was, they submit this paperwork, Jay-Z get rattled, and because he got so much on the line,
he would
he just
put some bread.
here's the check, here's the blank check. Let me know the price so we can get this so we can hide this under the rug. And he wasn't with it. He's like, nah, this ain't happening. Y'all ain't gonna strong on me, you know? So shout out to Jay on that note. But
Stay strong on that.
let's see how this transpires. I don't know where they go from here, like it's a civil case. He's just been named. So like what's gonna happen? I don't even know what's gonna happen next. You know what I mean?
You
Maybe
gotta
the
ask the
judge files
question
a
too.
motion. What
Sorry.
happened?
You gotta ask the question too, like if she's doing this with so many inaccuracies, who else has stories like these? Who else is
Yeah,
gonna be filing suits like this that's gonna be like mad frivolous or just a waste of time, or people that are actually having serious suits in waiting that's not being seen as serious as well.
Right. What will be happening is the snowball effect too, right? So
Yeah.
like now she did that, right?
Hmm.
Now it'll be a couple of other people, some ladies that wanna say, "Hey, no, Jay did this to me too." And now it makes the first one look credible, right? And now it's like now we all got a chance at getting the bag because now our story paints a different picture. Because now we say that this happened with Jay also. It's going to happen at some point. And then
exactly.
once that revealed in the public, that's it. He's doomed.
What?
Once it all takes a second and third one to come out, and he's
Yeah,
doomed.
yeah, exactly. And if that happens, it's bad, yo.
That's it. Yeah.
I hope, but I wouldn't be surprised if another accuser comes forward. Because you got away like Mike, right? Michael Jackson got accused once and got away, kinda. I think R.
Well,
Kelly,
he settled. He's
Yeah, he
yeah,
settled
dollar
the
he
first
wise,
one.
right?
settled.
Michael settled.
And R. Kelly, it was a minute. Even Bill Cosby, it was a minute. Diddy too, it was a minute. You heard the rumors, and then they got him. I mean, I'm okay if that's the trend. You know what I'm saying? Because then that'll be anybody like that is actually wrong will get what's coming, their comeuppance. But for some reason, I could see Jay being the one to beat it all, no matter what, whether he did or didn't. I could see
Nah,
Jay
nah. The one that's been beating it all is the Teflon Don himself, Bambaataa.
being about it. But I think the thing with Bam, honestly, I think the thing with this
Non-stick,
is true.
Nothing sticking to Bam.
Let's get to
I,
that.
Nothing
except for
sticking to
one
Bam.
thing. Except for
I
one
think
thing.
Right. That's the
Bam
only
isn't.
thing.
I don't think. I think a lot of it is because Bam isn't as super popular in pop culture as he could be. I think that has a lot to do with it. Just like what I mean, people kind of brush it under the rug, like the
Yeah.
double
Maybe
eyes.
here in America,
Here's the
popularity
serious stuff.
wise, but
Yeah.
man, worldwide, that dude's a bigger icon than any of these
Exactly.
characters. Like,
But
you know what I'm
America's where
saying?
it's at. That's what I think is. That's what. Because I wonder, and I talk to Biggs a lot, and he's the one to point out that like Bam's not really popular like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I would like that trend to be true, so Bam can get caught. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna say that, but I would like that where eventually everybody gets their just due. You know what I mean? And I went.
Jazz, you got a lot of feedback coming from your phone. I don't know what you doing. Sound like you under the hood working on the call while you there with us.
Rain or
That
something?
sound like your
Jab,
windshield
Jab
wiper.
Jamaican, so he doing his
It's your
shit might be
windshield
fixing the
wiper.
car.
Hey,
It's raining outside.
You fixing
Yeah,
the
it's
Camry?
raining.
Yeah, it's his windshield wiper.
Oh,
But he ain't
But
driving
you're
though,
not
so you
even
can turn
driving.
it.
but he don't
Nah,
want to
it's
Exactly.
it's a rain. It's like a rain sensing windshield wiper.
Yeah, he don't
Oh,
want
you
But
fancy.
I just turned it off though.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I appreciate it.
Into your,
We're
That
known
it,
for good audio quality. You know what I mean? I don't want to
I
ruin
thought it
that. You know?
was as usual. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't
You
even
Nah,
know
he
that shit I
just
could hear all that.
yeah. Nah, we heard it was
know,
crazy, but we forgive you. We still love you, bro.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
You know, I know you looking out for the ops. You want to make sure you got a clear field of the you know, but yeah,
Gotta
man.
make sure.
Bambaataa is the Teflon Don, man. He
you
got about
gotta go.
countless amount of accusers, more accusers than everybody else, and
Yeah, he do.
people
That
are
is the truth, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Bam's had
right.
the rooms.
But I
But
think that's what it is. Popularity is not so
Yeah, I don't,
popular in this culture and time. So
no, but it still
it's
gets
like it
coverage though. It still gets coverage. It still
does.
gets
it
coverage.
does. But if
And then
Bam in the
you have the
room,
other two people on Facebook. On YouTube that's overshining. His situation as well. I'm not going to say their names, but it's obvious who I'm talking about. They get a lot more coverage than he do.
Yeah, well, yeah, they do. Well, Hassan Campbell is more relevant than honestly. I'm gonna be real with you. More people, more young brothers in the community know who Hassan Campbell is than Afrika Bambaataa. In
Yeah,
fact, when I talk to people that's young, you know what I'm saying, when I tell them I'm Zulu, they only know of Zulu through Hassan Campbell. Is that
yeah.
crazy? You know what I mean? And that's no knock on him. Just he's more known than for the young ones than Afrika Bambaataa is. You
No,
know what
it's
I mean?
true.
And then anything they know about Afrika Bambaataa is negative. They don't know nothing positive, and that's Bam's own doing.
Yeah,
But the crazy thing is, right? If you look at all these situations, Bambaataa is the only one of them all that the accusers, the survivors of the abuse, are all men. You know what I'm saying? They ain't no women. And there probably never will be a woman to step forward and say,
mm,
hey, Bear about to try me, right? Because we know whatever, like that's his thing. Men.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, Funkmaster Flex himself, he confirmed that. He said him and B Stinger had consensual sex. I don't know how Funkmaster Flex would know that, right? Is that something that Bam and Funk Flex discussed at Hot 97 that day?
yes.
Right? Because
But
if that's the case, then yeah, Bam Bada has come out the closet and no one shouted him out and celebrated it. And
Word.
don't they
Yeah,
be celebrating that?
Yeah, he missed it. He
He
missed
missed
it.
the celebration.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll celebrate in June for him. You know what I
what?
yeah.
mean?
At West 4.
I don't know about no
But
birthday celebration. I don't know about no closets. You know what I mean? I don't know what they do when they open or when they close. I never heard that though. They celebrate when they finally, you know what I mean, reveal themselves.
yo,
Like they
yo,
game.
The Zulus that be with Bam will be more mad at us for talking about this in this video than they are for him for hurting brothers and violating brothers.
Word. You ruining the
Yeah,
brand. You
Right.
ruining the brand.
He's still the father. I'm
He ain't
still
my
letting go
father.
for Bam.
He ain't my father.
Yeah, no, my
yeah.
father's
Not
name is
my father either.
Gualberto Rodriguez,
I got
I
one
had
copy. He ain't around.
9,
not Lance.
9 years old. I got it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But
Also, here's the thing, real quick on Bam. It don't. It's not so much the coverage; it's the influence and impact on the pop youth culture. So, like, if Bam was like on a Jay-Z level or Russell Simmons level, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even
He
see him.
was though at one point.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like when from now up until when it happened. Like he was pretty big when like being like the coverage on the news and shit. But they would get it like Bam would be taken down more or more people would get at him if he was like really like holding some weight like behind the companies like how Jay is and you got all
Well,
these
they kind of shut him down though. Remember
yeah,
after
yeah, yeah.
the
Right.
Lisa Evers interview? Remember he tried to come back out and they took his name off of tours and You know,
Right,
like
Yeah.
they was trying to stop his paper a little bit, and
right.
then
But just to be at the level he already was,
I
Bam would
think the
always
museum kind of brought him back a little bit to
yeah,
to
now
get him to try to start like showing his face again and performing and stuff.
it's over. But that's just regular Bam shit. If Bam would have might have already been taken down if he was like on the level of Cosby or R. Kelly or Diddy, then it'd have been more of an effort to get that guy back. And
Well,
I think people want to get at
he
Jay.
might be more popular if he wasn't wearing that damn fanny pack.
No, I mean
Mm.
I mean, Band's popularity
You-
with the actual culture was gone
you-
in like when the '90s, like when it was off High '97. He says, but like yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, he
like, oh,
still he had his run at Sirius XM.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
He did.
he's
He
had
did.
his
No, he has his little. You know what I
He
mean?
had spurts. He had spurts.
right.
Well, he
You know
has
what I'm
When you
saying?
popularity.
travel overseas, it was,
No, he has
overseas money is different.
right.
Yeah.
No, he's
Uh,
popular.
No, he talking about here though.
Yeah,
We
had he
already know overseas, like he's who he is.
and
Like
you know, listen, like right, the see, like there's been a shift in hip hop culture. Like those that, you know, our era and older are very in tune with like the foundation of hip hop, the actual culture, who the players are, right? We got the Father, Cool Herc, you know, you got Grandmaster Flash, you got Afrika Bambaataa as the godfather of hip hop. We know all the pioneers, we know all the greats, we know the other elements that are involved with hip hop. We just don't talk about rap or whatever. Right. So we know Bam's place, and then you look at other artists in hip hop, right? We talking about Jay-Z. This video is about Jay-Z. That Africa Bambaataa shit, home of the hip hop. I mean, a lot of people were still saying Bam's name,
yeah,
Joel Santana. Um,
Yeah.
Diddy.
I'm old school like Bambaataa. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Diddy
You know,
mentioned him too
yeah. They know who Bam is.
in
You know what
rhymes,
I'm saying? A
in
lot of
songs. Yeah, a
people,
lot of
you
people.
know, and you got to think about, so the same thing with Bam and the Zulu Nation. Like everybody was mentioning the Zulu Nation back then. Everybody was mentioning Bam Bada's name. Yes, Diddy himself too on his record. You know what I mean? Also mentioned Bam Bada.
Remember,
So,
he never paid
mhm,
Bam for Planet Rock, but he used it for the Public Enemy video.
Nah,
mm.
he had, did he had just Bam would have
That
sued him.
that's what was said at Universal.
Yeah, he had to be lying. Unless like this, unless like, you know,
that was something. That was something to get the people riled up.
yeah, because like as cracked out as them old heads are, right? They got at least they got a white massa or somebody because they business be together. Bam got enough sense to go on tour the last 3 months of every year. You know what I'm saying? There's no way they would let what somebody would have told Bam.
Yeah,
Well,
what's the name? They paid him.
So
The who the people that use Planet Rock? What's
yeah, yeah,
them?
and
City
City
Girls.
Girls. Didn't
yeah,
City Girls have to
yeah,
pay him?
yeah. And
Cause
Tommy,
he posted it. He
yeah,
posted the
you know that
song.
Bam
I'm
didn't get
like,
Right.
Dag, Bam a City Girl now too?
Well, I think at one point, I think one at one
It's
at one
crazy.
point, yeah,
Yo,
yeah,
yo,
all the way out of line. I just picture that.
no.
yo, that's
Nah,
crazy.
but at one point, I don't know if y'all remember this, but at one point, Planet Rock was the most
Most
sampled
sampled.
hip hop
Yeah.
Yeah,
record
Bam getting
in hip
paid.
hop.
Nah,
You
they
Yeah.
know what I'm
just used
saying?
it though. Before the girl, they no longer a group. But I know a couple years ago they
Yeah,
sampled Planet Rock.
City Girls
They
have played
Because
around.
planted
I
it,
don't, yeah, I
and he
don't think they're
posted it.
giving, I don't think
So
they're
I
giving
know they broke
Kraftwerk
him
the
off.
credit. They're sampling directly from
Bam.
Bam, not the
Yeah,
original Kraftwerk,
Right,
you know,
right, right.
where
But
Arthur Baker sampled those records from. You
right,
know,
right.
I
Nah,
mean,
they sampled Planet
Common
Rock.
had his joint, right? That Universal Mind Control. What was that shit called?
Yeah,
cool.
Um,
what do you call?
you know what I'm saying? That was a sample from Bam as well.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Bam,
Common's
Tommy
record.
Boy and them is getting paid. Bam. He got that money.
Bam get a piece.
Yeah, he got
But
that money.
so for the listeners that's
No Bam.
wondering, right? For the listeners that's wondering, they're like, all right, well, R. Kelly got taken down.
Damn
You
it.
know, Jay got this thing on his back right now, right? Diddy locked up right now. So if all of this happened with Bambaataa, why he not locked up? Well, number one, I said it's men, it's young boys and men that's accusing Bambaataa of what took place. And number two, Bambaataa is the founder of the Universal Zulu Nation. Jay-Z never founded no street movement in Marcy. He doesn't have hundreds upon hundreds of soldiers at his disposal that's down to do whatever, gunplay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hove don't have that. R. Kelly don't have that. Bill Cosby don't have that. Nobody has what Bambaataa has. Bambaataa has the Goonies. Like Zulu Nation is not a joke. And we talking about from our perspective, who all of us were Zulu for 20 something years, to see the type of people that looked up to Bam, that Bam done took off the streets, that Bam gave opportunities to. Like we all know, like Bam was like how Poppy say, Hassan Campbell say, he's like the good uncle that does good for you and then does bad for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's what Poppy say. It's true.
I see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right. You
yeah,
know, it's a Jekyll and Hyde. It's a Jekyll and Hyde situation because a lot of us know Bambaataa on some positive shit, right? We know the brother that organized the movement that gave us, helped us rise into leadership and do all of this, right? But there's also the other side to him, and I don't want to go too deep, but that's the difference between Jay-Z and Bam. That's why people are in fear of speaking the truth about Bam. You rarely gonna get people to ever get on film talking against him because they fear
it's
getting
influence.
static, getting jumped, getting beat up, getting washed. And if y'all wondering why we talk about it, it's simple. Because we don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be real. Ain't nobody doing nothing to nobody. And I'm not challenging nobody, but I'm standing on for real, like on some I'm a Zulu king and I'm willing to go for whatever. If y'all want the bullshit, let's go. Tonight, tomorrow, next year, for the rest of our lives, whatever. I'm serious.
Also,
Word.
real
Fuck
quick,
around if you want.
real,
nah, that's a fact.
not no Cosby, not no Kelly, not even Diddy, but Bam situation got a got a lot of backtracking fuckery going on, and no one had a
Yeah,
Savage doing something like that. And all due respect to Poppy, he got a couple of weird situations on the internet. Like no one, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? That's one weird thing where it's like weird, y'all. But it's also it makes it uh, profanely, disgustingly unique because that they don't have that. You don't have Ron Savage doing this and then reneging, and then
Yeah, you got the reneging. You got this one talking about
you
he's
don't
gonna
have
fuck some guy or something like that.
projects. You know what I'm saying? And
Huh?
Yeah. No,
Yeah, it
no,
was
yeah, I know
some.
what you're talking about. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
But
He
that
said
I
that
think
about
that
Doggy Diamonds, though. He said that
yeah.
to Doggy Diamonds.
Well, who said
I know
what?
he
yeah.
said that.
But you say
Poppy.
outrageous things. It that's what I'm
He
saying.
said
It overshadows
he was
Bambaataa.
going to do allegedly do something to Doggy Diamonds,
why
and
would he?
that's how
So, I think
I
it's the
don't know.
pain
That
and I
was a
think it's
while ago.
also I think
That's
it's the
crazy.
pain and I think it's the alcohol,
A
the
shooting,
combination.
Nah,
shooting
ain't no
that
Cause
pain gonna tell you gonna
right,
do
no,
that
I'm not
to
trying
another
to
man. Like,
yeah, no,
nah,
it's
it's probably
disrespectful and
this.
it's out of
It's
line.
the alcohol and amongst other things. But yo, the Bronx is
Just
a
to be
weird place. That's
disrespectful.
all I'm gonna say.
Right. It
You know what I'm saying? I
definitely
love
is.
New
And
York. I love the five boroughs. You know what I'm saying? I done been through all five of them, but the Bronx is
it's a
very,
unique
very
place.
different. Yeah,
It's
it's
a
very
unique place
different.
where there's
It's
it's
very
like no
different.
rules. Rules is
If
off
you're
the
not from New
table.
York, don't go to the Bronx unless you're going to a Yankee game. Then go home
Right.
immediately after the game.
Be
Real
on point
talk.
if you go to the Bronx.
You know,
what's
Or
every borough got everything,
well, I
and
took
New
my
York got
family
too
to the
much of
Bronx
everything.
recently. We had a good time. We had a good
Yeah.
time. I took them to the botanical garden to see a
Damn,
light show, and
he's
we
all
had a
sick
good
out of
time. Then we ate at City Island. Yeah, we ate at City
that.
Island, and
Riverdale, all
it
that
was a
convention
beautiful thing.
center.
But if you going on Fordham Road, if you going down the
Hmm.
Concourse, if you going down
Again,
It's too
Boston
much.
Road, Gun Hill,
oh man,
you know what I mean, Bronx River Parkway, like stuff like that, I don't think you
even the Yankee
they
game.
and High Bridge and all of that, like stay away from
Some
that.
good spots that going some.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know, but if you're not from New York, you don't need to be over there.
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? But like,
Mm.
yo, but seriously, like, I think Bam,
What is that? What y'all doing?
It's like somebody
that's
playing
them
percolator
windshield
So
ice.
wipers again. That's them
it's the
windshield
rain.
wipers
Percolator.
again.
It's the rain. It's
Nah,
the
it ain't
rain.
me.
Oh, it's the
That's
It's
rain.
the
Razor.
rain.
Percolator.
It's the rain.
Oh,
Razor's a
yo,
reporter.
Bam, Bam need to go get himself some help,
He's gone.
Yeah,
and
no, he really does.
his enablers need to cut it out. Go make money. Go make money on your own strength.
Yeah, you know what kills me, man,
I think
about
that's some sucker stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is super. You know what I mean? It kills me that people is willing to continue to hide this and disregard it and just act like this is gonna all go away. And then at some point we're just gonna be able to dust the beads off,
Yeah,
put them
and
back
wave the flag
on,
again, and wave the flag again. It's like the good old
and
days, and
yeah,
Universals is coming back, and
yeah.
the
Yeah, because you know the National
anniversaries.
Black Theater, they building it back up on 125 and
I
Fifth.
hope they ban
So
them from it. I hope they
they
ban
should,
them from it.
yo, the reality is they should. They
Damn
You put the
should.
good.
We
black light. You put the black light in there. It might be mad.
Whoa.
no, they
It
no
might be mad.
that building, no, the whole
Yo, that
building
joint is
was
that
knocked
joint need to
down.
be condemned, yo.
Really?
The whole building was knocked down. It's gone. They
It
No,
was
built a whole
condemned.
I want
they
to
Yeah,
go,
built
but
a
you
whole
put the
brand new
black
one.
light in there.
Mm.
but I don't know about
Yeah,
no.
Yo, you put the black light in there, it might
Bucket
be
running
things
all over
swimming
that.
in there, yo.
Nah,
yeah, nah,
don't say that. I've been
Dead
there.
cells,
yeah,
dead
I've
cells.
been there. Yeah.
yeah, but
Might be dead cells in there, man.
Hell no, don't say that. Yo.
Like I
I'm
Easy.
said,
just
Philadelphia in
saying,
this.
yo.
Nah.
Might,
you know the whole thing is we as Zulus and any Zulu in general, we got to deal in truth and we got to accept what took place, man. You know, no one wants to be in this situation. This shit is embarrassing for us all.
it
Like, yo,
is.
all of us had to talk to our parents about this shit, like our families. People had to talk to their seeds about it. People had to explain to their cousins, to their friends, to their coworkers. Every day I have to explain to my coworkers about this shit. Like,
Friends
why
have
do I
lost
gotta
friends over that.
continue to?
Yo,
Right,
yo.
exactly.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? You
Why
know
do I
what's
gotta
crazy?
explain?
In 2016, when the joint when Son came out with the, his story or whatever, I got two phone calls, right? And I'll never forget it. One from my man, he lost boys, right? My man Marty. He was like, yo, already knew. And he was
Mhm.
like, you know why? Cause you told me. He was like, but you told me years ago. He was like, so, like, um, it's how could I say this? Um, Bam just need to come clean, man. Real talk. He need to come clean
No freaky.
because it's too many. It's too many accusers. It's too many survivors. It's you got Solo now. Who else? Who's next?
Oh, it's gonna be more. It's
You
gonna
know what
be
I'm
more,
saying?
you know.
Who's
Too
next?
many
Whenever
awkward
the
moments.
awkward moments, right? A lot of
Awkward moments.
like
Oh, you mean
Random
in?
pop-ups.
Yeah, it looks bad. Even the PR on his behalf looks bad.
yeah, but look who's doing the PR, you know? Look who's doing the PR. It's
Yeah,
his very own, his own
yeah.
beloveds, who honestly, they honestly, I thought brothers was smarter than, but their response
Nah,
has led me to understand they're not as smart as I
nah.
thought they
We
were,
we were
you
fooled.
know?
We were fooled by all the rhetoric.
Right.
We were fooled by. Well, I mean, I wasn't
Yeah.
fooled by the rhetoric. I just say we as, you know,
We as a
as
collective,
being
you know what I
young,
Yeah.
as
mean?
being young, and
Yeah.
I
They
guess
hated what
somewhat
we
impressionable.
they hated what
Some
we
some of us had,
they hated
huh?
they hated what we would become.
I don't even. I think a lot of them thought we would have followed them to like lemmings to a cliff and jumped off.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody, but I think like once you get a majority, like look, like to be honest, for the listeners, like dude was trying to run a cult. You know what I'm saying? He was really trying to like formulate a cult. If you look at all of the stuff, like how he introduced certain things to us,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like first, like when I came back, when I came out of the military, the Moorish science was a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It was still like, kind of like 5% um pseudo Islamic, and then the Moorish science started coming in, and then
Mm-hmm.
the Kemet stuff started coming in, and then you had Zulu Kemetic Moors, and I'm like, how does that even like make sense? I never even understood that. It was kind of crazy, like Islam and Egyptology, like con that's contrast.
Right.
You know what I'm
So,
saying? Because
right.
that's
One's pagan.
polytheism. That's
Right.
right. That's polytheism and monotheism. So
Monotheism.
that
Two
don't
different
even make sense.
sides.
Mm.
Right.
So in my head, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, nah. And then the whole thing with the Nuwapians, like even having the anniversary at the spot was questionable to me, even though I enjoyed myself.
Mm-hmm.
But like even having it there, and then right, remember I told you about the story when I went to use the bathroom, and Bam told me to go read some book, like go
Mm-hmm.
buy a book out of there, and it's some stuff
Mm-hmm.
you'd be interested in. And then I'm in there and I'm like, why the hell would he think I'll be interested in this? Like
Yeah.
me? You know what I'm saying? I'm not like the dudes that carry your records, and you know what I'm saying? You ain't never seen me walking around with none of that literature before.
You didn't carry his medicine bag or his umbrella.
Nah, I
Yeah.
wasn't like,
Your name ain't Shakim.
Those books,
yo, I wasn't the oil of oregano kid. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like,
oregano kid.
but no, all of this stuff that he was slowly indoctrinating, like when you look back on like like any person that ran a cult, he was trying to run a cult and
I
then
Yeah.
getting it
oh,
as a religion and making it a religious group
Mm-hmm.
and all of that stuff. Like, yo, he was trying. Why you think? Like, you look at Malachi York, right? You look at Dr. York when he had the Ansar community in Brooklyn, right before they went to Georgia. I know somebody that was personally with the Ansars before, and then he's like Orthodox, what you would call Orthodox Muslim now, right? He said you got to kick all the money you make, you got to kick it to him first.
Mm-hmm.
So when we at the Universals, they asking us for money. You asking 16, 15, 16, 17 year old, anybody from the age of 15 to 25. Some of us still in school, no jobs, barely scratching, putting money together to come to Universals, and you passing around a hat talking about we need a building. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Right.
And
Right.
you this I don't know if he's platinum or whatever. You're
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You're
Mm-hmm.
a recording artist.
Oh, he's a multimillionaire.
Yeah, you know what I'm
He's a
saying? You couldn't get the
multimillionaire.
building yourself. Why you asking the people, why you asking your
And then
followers
all the celebrity
allegedly?
Zulus that he's tied in
Right.
with
Like why they couldn't
too.
get a bill. We should have been had a building based off of you and all these like you said, all these
All these
other
followers, right?
artists that
Successful
are
followers.
Zulu. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, that's crazy. That's
Right.
crazy.
You
wasn't
know, Bam was saying at Universal's like for a while, like the last few years, this got to be bigger than hip hop. We got to start talking about law, land,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
finance. Like those are some
Mm-hmm.
of the things, And then he was saying, and for the real Zulus that's want to be real serious and not just the party Zulus, you got to get down with the Zulu Kemetic Moors.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to like, I guess kind of using technology to a degree. To get us to go to a different level within the organization. So you got the foundation, the black spades, and then now you've created this new level of the family, the Zulu Nation, and now you just starting to revamp this thing every 10 years with a new layer, and then you just keeping everybody like distant from each other too. Like you separating the main body of the Zulu Nation from the Zulu Kemetic Moors. It's just a lot of weird stuff going on, you know what I
And the
mean?
registration thing was funny
Right,
too.
the
The registration
registration,
thing was funny style
no,
too.
no, signing NDAs. If you ain't signing the NDA, then you're gonna be removed from your position. That's why when the brother called me and told me, yo, you got to come to the Universal, it's mandatory, and you got to sign this NDA. And if you don't sign this NDA, then you're gonna be removed from your position. I said, so then remove me. Then I'll resign. I ain't signing no NDA, non-disclosure agreement, because they wanted to keep these things internal. You know what I'm saying? What was going on within the UZN had to be secretive. You know what I mean? And like, yo, this ain't a Masonic order. This isn't built on secrets. It's a public organization with
Right,
street gang elements. So when you
right.
fuse these things together, it's open, it's public. Why are we keeping secrets? You know
Yeah,
what
we're
I'm
trying to
saying?
keep it
Because the
corporate.
founder has secrets. The,
Right.
the
And it's
uh,
supposed to be
found,
grassroots
You know, we're trying to
right,
make it corporate.
also.
right. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of it was a big mix of a lot of things. And I'm gonna be real with you, man. I really feel bad for um all of us that had to endure all of that, right? Because Bam didn't face the scrutiny that all of us did. I guarantee we faced all of us have faced more scrutiny in the streets in our own communities, people questioning who we are, what happened, what our intentions are, questioning if we down with some crazy shit or not, right? And then you got like all just Zulus everywhere, man, that some don't even know the truth, some don't want to accept the truth, and people just run around in circles, man, with this shit. You know what I'm saying? And every day it's just somebody just beating the shit out of you for being a part of this, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you Zulu? Ding. You Zulu?
Or they
Ding.
asking you, did Bam touch you?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, nobody ever asked me, but I'm just saying, I'm
Yo,
sure,
yo,
like,
I'll tell y'all like this, man. My wife asked me that.
Right,
Mm.
that's crazy.
Respectfully, my wife asked me that, and that's not a disrespectful thing
right,
for a
right.
Right,
woman
right, right.
that,
Well,
she
yeah,
said
right.
she said to me, "Yo, I ain't trying to disrespect you," because I'm like, "Yo, how dare you ask me that?" And she like, "No," she's like, "I know you've been down since you was young. Like, I
Right,
just want
right,
to make
right.
sure, because like, yo, she's concerned for my well-being." You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And I guess she was giving me an avenue if that did take place
right,
to,
that you could get some help.
yeah, get some
Right,
help,
right, right.
confide in her to know, like, yo,
Oh,
and
no, definitely.
that's embarrassing though, man.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
had that been, imagine that struggle, you know what I'm saying? If
Mm-hmm.
you were, you know what I mean? Thinking
Mm-hmm.
about being about it. Honestly, to keep it real, it wasn't like in short, you might have been the one reason why it's not like full blown or super crazy. Because my whole time being Zulu, I mean, I've never been under any direction Bambaataa. Like my chapter's always been on some renegade before I even joined, and then I come from Huntington and L1 where that was a different. It is what it was. Like that separated. That kind of like that happened at a rightful time. You know what I'm saying? The birth of the Zulu Nation in Huntington, because like you see how I branched out and you see how you branched out, and that became like we linked up with people, like-minded people, and that became this movement we have now. Had that never happened, it'd be even worse. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
see how like not even to be funny, all those renegade individuals are us, you know what I'm saying? And then
Mm-hmm.
we're the supporters of people that we fuck with that are survivors. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like in our three chapters, you know what I'm saying, there are no survivors. And it's not to be funny or to brag, it's just it's a reason we've always been on some renegade shit and
Separated.
we're not.
Separated.
And
Right.
so
Some of us were in the mix, like a little bit, I guess like us,
yeah,
some of the heads of our chapters was in the mix, with the main functioning body and leadership of the Universal Zulu Nation.
Right.
But most of our membership fell to the background due to the fact that they were disinterested in what was going on at the Universal. You know, they didn't care for that type of knowledge. They didn't care. Yo, there was times we'd be at the Universal, they reading the New York Post or the Daily News, and Tafik talking about Giuliani. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, man, Giuliani. Like, what is that? How is this motivate the Zulus to do anything?
Right,
We're just
right,
reading the
right. How is this
newspaper.
applicable to my life?
Right. I didn't come up on a 2-hour train ride to read the New York Post or for them to cancel the meeting and we outside at Marcus Garvey Park in Harlem, freezing in the freezing cold, trying to cipher and build over the lessons. Like there was a lot of crazy things that we experienced, man. And yeah, thankfully we weren't insulated. Bam may never really try to come out and cool with us. But the reality, you know, no disrespect to the Zulus in the Bronx, there wasn't really much activity going on in the Bronx aside from Gestapo and Chosen, right? If you take Chosen and Gestapo out the mix, right, in New York City, the only bodies of Zulu that was out there was Chapter 18, which, you know, turned into Chapter 7, right? You know, Chapter 17, y'all. Chapter 25, that from us that came from the G's, right? And Z Gang, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If you took away like the 49ers, us, the 49ers, and Z Gang, there really isn't much movement going on in New York City. We were all the young ones that's
Yeah.
carrying this. It really didn't, Harlem didn't have no young Zulus. The Bronx didn't really have much young Zulus. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was us. You know what I'm
And
saying? We were the young souls, like, you know what I mean?
thank God. I mean, like Lee, for like a lot of reasons. Like Lee wasn't always into the knowledge part of Zulu Nation. From knowing Lee, Zulu King Lee, which is the founder of Chapter 17, he
Peace to
was
King Lee.
right. He was very practical, and he was mostly like the most dedication towards the nation I've seen him is when Shaka. Like most of his reputation and power comes from him being Shaka. When I first
Hmm.
got down, he was on the council, and situations happened, and then he just was out of there. But when I turned 17, being around him, he's not kicking none of that. Like there was never like there are people that know all the lessons just to know them, but there was never really a person like super on that knowledge.
Right.
So when I got down, when I got in like positions of power at 17, like I kind of changed. I changed a lot because I kind of brought like Huntington to like Flushing, but we weren't like we weren't telling them not to go to the Universal. We would go if it was like the squad would come in mass if it was necessary, or just every once in a while to show face. But like my membership, they were more like community based, and that was it. Like they didn't know Zulu Nation outside of their neighborhood. You couldn't even be another chapter inside of Flushing. You couldn't. They tried to open Aliens one time over. Sharimdan tried many times where we might let
Black Spades.
rock, you know, Black Spades, the Thunderbirds. We might let him rock for a little minute because it's Shah, and then they're all under the wing. But
Hmm.
that was long before like
I
I
like Thunderbirds. They had some cool beads.
yeah they were cool,
I
but
think
like,
Cutthroat was from Yahweh
yeah,
too, and Flushing
Cutthroat
too.
was from Flushing. Some of
Cutthroat,
them, and I
right,
think Bayside, I
right,
think.
Yeah,
the
because
Bayside.
To me, it's all the
I'm even
same.
from
Flushing, College Point,
It's all
Bayside, it's
cool.
all
I
the
went to
same.
Yeah,
Van
yeah,
Buren.
it's all yeah,
It's all
yeah.
because
Some of them went to Van Buren. Yeah,
it wasn't like they wasn't like you had to be 17. And then I never really met anyone that was like super on the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding part. Lee never barely 360 salute. You wouldn't see Lee throwing it up and nothing like that. Where one of my first times when L1 brought me out there was like, yo, they're different. You know what I mean? And then they had like they were more into hip hop and in certain like activities, you know what I'm saying, shotgun and things like that. But that saved it. That saved a lot too, because it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. Where even if we weren't around just to support like the survivors, you know what I'm saying? what if we weren't like there'd be like it'd be worse, you know what I'm saying? There'd be no union, there'd be no people to still want to be involved. I have people that just call me and talk to me about it, and I'm like, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
none of that would be had we not done what we did, you know what I'm saying? So
I think it's important though, like like how you said like a lot of people weren't into the lessons. Like
right,
I'm pretty sure you remember when we first started the chapter out on Long Island. We used to be out there with the infinity lessons in
right,
hand. Like
right,
it could
right,
be raining and the paper would get wet. It'd
right,
be snowing and we'd be out there with the lessons. I would read them verbatim.
right,
Like
right,
I
right,
was trying to striving to do my
right.
best to teach y'all what Zulu is, right? Because I think it's important if brothers don't know what the foundation or the lessons, if they don't know what it is, then we
Yeah,
can never fully understand it, respect it, and love it. You know what I'm saying? And when I was like younger, like, we had Q every few minutes, like he'd try to get in your chest if you didn't know the laws, you didn't know the regulations, you didn't know the lessons. And there were other elders that was on that type of time too. Like they might quiz you on some lessons. So I wanted brothers to be sharp because you bring a brother to Universal and
oh, I know.
you might get him violated. He might get cleaned up if he don't know the lessons.
I mean, my first Universal, you told me when we got on the train, I had to know the 15 and the 20, right? And then
15 beliefs and the 20 laws. Yeah.
I had to be able to name two Zulu kings. You know what I'm saying? And then that was before I even got there. Met Lucky Strike, things like that. One time we was in a neighborhood like 30 deep, just doing wild gang shit, smoking, drinking. Here come L1 like, yo, da 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 da. And no lie, people knew it. I knew it, you know what I'm saying? Other brothers knew it. But yeah, he was on it like that, you know what I'm saying? And that was a good thing too, because I mean you learned the hard way because one time someone stepped out there and you know what I mean, got violated, got sent back, and you know what I mean? And a couple times, like even because I've been under you and I've been in my chapter, even in my chapter, like I've seen them just be on some Super Zulu shit where they're just like testing people. You know what I mean? There was one period where we was on four corners. Everybody that came had to get four corners and things like that. But us
I
us
want.
not,
Go ahead.
oh I'm
No, I
just
would just want. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying us sticking to the core beliefs and the youth, helping the youth, it saved us, and not so much like I like Lee did well. You know what I'm saying? He did right because not being um like engaged or like super swept under the spell of King Gu, as they say. When it comes to that, when it comes to band, I've seen
Leviathan.
because you listen.
Leviathan.
Yeah, Leviathan, and some of the stuff, like when you brought up York, some of the stuff he says is sounds right and exact. It's just like when you guys like the layers and the subtle introductions and of like cult behavior, because like you would see it where you could see it in York, but
Mm.
York and Bam, they both hit it well. Like they both had things like Bam had hip hop, and Dr. York had his own
He
culture.
had music too. He had music too because he
Yeah,
wrote songs.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah, you got credits.
He did, and his son. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
but like he wasn't giving them to his father. He wasn't even kicking music. He's kicking
No,
martial arts, knowledge of every.
everything. Right, right, right. They change religion like every 3 4 years.
Yo, Dr. York
Hmm
was the highest level of every religion on earth
He
before.
is. That's Baba.
hmm
That's Baba.
That's insane.
Well, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
But
But that's how you get it. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot, yo. And I mean, you don't really see Nubians now, but
Yeah, I
they
don't
still
see them.
around.
they
They're
still,
around though.
you know what I
Oh,
mean? They're
I'm
still,
sure.
but we're still here also. So you know what I mean? Shout out to the
The
survivors.
the the thing with the lessons, um, like it's cool to know them, but I think where it gets messed up is that people not acting them.
Right,
You know what
right.
I'm
Hmm
saying? People not living them out. So if you have somebody coming like, yo, what's law number 4? and then he pressing you for not knowing it, and then in turn he violates it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like it's
The
like,
ones that are
so what?
enforcing it,
So what the
be
hell?
the ones breaking them.
What's the lessons for? You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah.
Right.
how that's how younger membership will look, because
Hmm.
like I remember I said, we were talking about some like episodes ago, and I'm just like, yo, children don't listen to what you say, they look at what you do. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And that's
True.
humans. That's
Yeah.
human
Hmm.
beings. Like it's not
Hmm.
just children, it's adults too. So like if I'm kicking something, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, you supposed to be upright and blah, 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 and stand on truth and blah, 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 blah. And then in turn, I'm a liar and I'm not standing on truth. Then you're going to look at me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, first, you're going to look at me like I'm crazy. And then you're going to be like, yo, that stuff you kicking is nonsense. I don't want to hear it. So I don't got to live by it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I
Right.
think
Right.
that's where the lessons get tossed to the side, even though you're still not supposed to toss them to the side. You're not supposed to judge um these lessons, these so-called lessons, by the person that's teaching them. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to
Hmm.
take it for yourself and apply it. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, because when you take knowledge, um, knowledge you acquire it, and wisdom is you acting it out. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I think the lessons are, it serves its purpose. I think
Hmm.
everybody should know them. You know what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying? But
important. It's
you
important to
don't,
know.
and you should try to live by them, even if you're not
Yeah.
quoting it verbatim. Just learning what it means and applying them, because me reciting it don't mean nothing. It's just
Right.
words. If you're
Right.
not living it out,
Activate it.
then
Activate it.
it
What do
really
you
don't
That's
like?
mean
right. It's
nothing.
like a guideline to life or like like self discipline or something like that. Like,
Like, right. It's like me. It's like me being Muslim, right? And like everybody, you're supposed to memorize the Quran. You recite the Quran, and one who memorizes the entire Quran is called a Hafiz, right? It's somebody who memorized the entire Quran from the first surah to the last surah, right?
mhm.
And you reciting all these surahs, you reciting 114 surahs out of the Quran, and you don't know what nothing means, and you're not acting none of it out. It means nothing. It means that you just a good reciter. That's all it
You
means.
have a good
Yeah.
memory.
You know what I'm saying? Because the Quran is a guideline for you to live your life from all aspects of your life, right? So if I know all of this and I'm not applying it, it's
There's
useless.
nothing.
You know what I'm saying? It's useless. So it's useless for
Hmm.
me because I'm not living it out. I'm not trying to apply it. And when you apply these things, like you're gonna fall short. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But as long as you're striving towards it, I think that should be sufficient. You know what I'm saying? Enough for you to call yourself a man, a Zulu, or whatever you want to call yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
What Zulu
Rather than just
do you,
reciting stuff. Huh?
what Zulu lessons do you guys feel are the ones that are that should be known in practice?
I
Like
think
what?
like well the lessons have changed, right? Because when we was young, they were organized 1 through 7, right? I thought the 1 through 7 was important, you know what I mean? Because you had the history of the Zulu Nation, right? The history of the original Zulu Nation. At the time, the you had the lesson on Hog, right? That was Infinity lesson number 3. Infinity lesson number 2 was Zulu and Bambaataa land, like basically the story of the original Bambaataa, right? Then you had like 4 went back to the history again, and it told you what Zulu means, heavens, people of the heavens mean, Amazulu means people of the heavens. What does Zulu mean to us? Strength in numbers. That whole breakdown was, I think, Infinity lesson 4. 5 is more or less the same thing. Again, more what the Zulu Nation is, and then 6 and 7 was the glossary, where it was giving you the definition and breakdown of some of our most commonly used phrases and words, and that was all relevant to people that come in because they didn't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? You raising your hand up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't see it because you
What
covered
what
by my video. I couldn't see you.
what about the people that still eat hog?
Right, yeah, no, that was something we would hear at the Universals. I still eat swine, and I'm Zulu. What?
Lee was the main one. That was one of his biggest things.
Nah, don't
Who?
come on, don't be talking
Nah,
about Lee.
you
Come
don't gotta
on,
put
dude.
the you
Who?
don't
Nah,
gotta put the
don't put
people
the
out
brother
there because
on.
there's more than
No,
just him. It's more than
Yeah,
No,
just
I'm
no,
him
just
no.
though.
saying
don't
he
don't
was.
put our
Definitely
beloved
was.
out there.
God, he's not. We'll
I
call
know
him
he
I
not
seen
later.
a brother.
shameful
I
of
seen a brother about to get thrown. Me and L was there at the mill when we was going to the Million More Mart, the 20th anniversary,
You see
and the
Lee?
brother was about to get thrown off the bus for
it.
having a pork chop on the bus.
Lee
Oh
was
That
shit.
bring the
like,
pork chop.
Your man had the
who?
greasy
Nah,
napkin.
nah, we ain't gonna say his
We ain't
name.
gonna say his name,
Oh,
but it's your
well,
man though, and he had the
my
greasy,
man's.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah, one of
he
your
had the
beloveds.
You gotta tell me
he
off
had
of
the
this.
Yeah, I
grease
didn't say his
dripping.
name was from
He
Port.
had the
Y'all
grease
gotta tell
dripping,
me
and
off of this.
Shaka Zulu King Power told him, you better get that off the bus ASAP.
Or Free King Power.
Word.
I'll tell you, y'all ain't saying that to Lee. Lee is not hiding no bacon. He's not running from that.
Nah, I
No,
know, but he
we know there's brothers that don't
Yeah,
care, but like
yeah, but Lee wasn't a Muslim, and in those lessons,
right.
not a lot of them wasn't Muslim neither though. There's people that's not Muslim that don't.
right. But in those
You could
lessons,
be from the planet Risk. If you from the planet Risk, you don't eat swine,
I don't know about that,
right?
but
Right.
Mm.
but
I just wanted to
in the lessons, what does it say? Respect the Bible, respect the Quran, all that good. It
right,
acknowledges
it
all of
does.
that.
It does. The lessons say that respect
Right,
the
right.
books
But a
and the
lot
house of worships
of
as well.
But
Leo
at the
towards
same
what you
time
said.
tells us that they're being tampered with.
Well, they say the Bible's been tampered with. They didn't say the
Yeah.
Quran. They said the Bible. Let's be
But
clear.
Okay. Yeah, you said
You know
right,
what
the
I
right.
mean?
Bible.
Due to
But
white
Let me
supremacy.
rephrase
Due to
that.
white
The
supremacy.
Bible. Let me rephrase that. The Bible and the school books.
Right.
right. But you guys said it earlier when a lot of the nation in the lessons was a lot of the nations was towards Islam kind of and the 5% nation, right? But
Yeah.
we also acknowledged everybody else equally, right?
Right. But that's why it's universal.
Exactly. And
That's why it's universal.
that's why you'll get a lead. You know what I'm saying? You'll get Lee not really doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to.
Right.
You know
Nah, I
what
bang with Lee. I bang with
I mean?
Lee.
Yeah, no, most
And he'll
definitely.
tell you
That's
that.
our beloved.
He put
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Like,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Lee was more practical, pragmatic than anything else, yo.
right.
And so he told everybody,
Very
you see how big Zulu
right. Biggs is a big
and
reflection
this is
of Lee.
before I met them. You know what I'm saying? And then just being around them. You know what I mean? But
Two,
I was just asking. I don't care. I mean, you eat
yeah,
what you want to eat. You know what I'm saying?
no,
I
I'm
was
just
just
saying.
asking. I was
to
just,
each his
I'm talking
own.
about the lessons, you know what I'm saying? Because to me,
So,
the
yeah.
1 through
mhm.
20, the 15, and the 1 through 7. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some where it's just 1 through 5 without the glossary. I've seen where it's 1 through 4. But
Right.
those are the things.
But then they reorganized the books by colors. So they put the green book was like some of the green book had the laws and the beliefs and some
Really?
of the history. And the black book was like lessons 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all different. Like you don't remember when they made the black book, the green book, they made the red book. The red book is the Shaka Zulu lessons. Then they had the gold book, they had the brown book, which was all Moorish lessons. They did a whole series, Sapphire,
Yeah, I got
put that
copies.
together with
Yeah,
Mark Love. You
what
know what I'm
yeah.
about the
saying?
Bocce Boy book?
The
The
Zulu War.
Bam was the author of
Zulu
that.
War.
Yeah, Bam was the author. That one didn't get released, but it's out there.
He released
He's shown a few
They say
people.
it's out there.
Yo, yo,
Oh,
let's
hold on. I wanted to say one. I wanted to end it on one thing that P was referencing something, right? When a brother, he said a brother went out and got violated. I think I know he was talking about a brother in Jamaica, Queens. So there was a brother in my chapter. I wanted to say two things, right? When you don't know your lessons, you a part of something, right? And you walking around and you got the medallion on, Zulu Nation, or you got the red, black, and green beads on, or whatever. You may have the leather flag that says Zulu Nation, right? When you have this on, you got to be expected to know what you a part of. You got to know the infinity lessons. You got to know the history. You got to be bold. You got to be proud, and you got to like be sharp with the lessons. So a brother from my chapter at the time, we was all young. We was all in high school still. So he went to Jamaica, Queens, and he had the joint on, the medallion, Zulu Nation, and a brother that approached him is an aggressive brother from Shaka Zulu. I don't want to say his name out of respect for, I'm not going to say either one of their names out of respect for their privacy, right? The brother said, "Yo, what is that shit?" He said, "Oh, it's Zulu Nation." He said, "That shit is soft. That's some 80s shit. Take that shit off, dude." Right? So the brother was like, "Nah, nah, he's trying to talk him out of it or whatever." He said, "Yo, take that shit off. Shit is soft." Right? So he said, "Oh, it ain't worth fighting for." He took him off and he got rocked. Son fell on the floor, got washed up, and his man ran on him. His man wanted to join Zulu Nation too at the time. We was about to put him on probation. When I heard he ran on him, we never put him on. The brother that got punched in his face and got his TV turned off, that brother, we violated him the next day in high school. You know what I'm saying? Had a security from my chapter wash him up. I don't want to say his name either, out of respect.
Good brother.
Um, right. Peace to the brother. He know who he is. He washed him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Had dinging his head off the locker, all that. Boom. Washed him. We stripped him. Threw him out of Zulu. Right. You can't move like that and be Zulu. This ain't no gang shit, but you got to be tough. You got to be a warrior. Right. Second story
I would have kicked
that
him in the nuts.
right. Some sucker
I
shit.
would have kicked, and I know
Oh,
who you
oh,
talking
oh.
about. That
Mm-hmm.
that 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 took his
Yeah, yeah,
beads and
yeah.
washed him. I would have kicked him in the nuts.
Well, you a different type of person. But the brother didn't have the courage. And I guess like he said, it wasn't worth fighting for, which is crazy. Because I mean, at the end of the day, he took two beatings off of it. But anyway,
Yep.
no disrespect to that kid, right? The second story, the brother Zulu King Asa told me in the Bronx, what they would do in Bronx River, right? When you would join Zulu is right now you don't everybody say they tough, but you don't know if somebody tough until it's time for action. So people will be in a big cipher in the center in the middle of the projects in Bronx River. You at the Zulu meeting, right? So what they would do is, because Zulu was so big, you could have another chapter come to the Bronx, and from whatever, any neighborhood, any chapter, right? So you'd have the cipher in the center, right? And people will come to the park and be like, "Yo, what y'all doing?" "Oh, this is Zulu meeting. Chill. Y'all can't come in. This is Zulu meeting." "What the fuck you mean? Fuck Zulu. We coming up in here." You know what I'm saying? So what they would do, they have dudes Bogart and Debo. They will put the hoodies on and they will try to bum rush the meeting and disrupt it. If the brothers defended the Zulu Nation that day, they would remain Zulu and move forward into being full-fledged members. If they didn't, they were knocked out of here. But Asa said that they would do that often, and it worked a lot of times. A lot of times, some people fought, and there were times where some people didn't fight. And that was a good way of weeding through, where you didn't have to like have like violence, like how the Bloods was out there cutting random innocent people. That doesn't test you a gangster. Like anybody could put hands on a neutral
Civilian.
person.
An
Yeah.
Yeah, a civilian.
unsuspecting person, a
Right.
neutral,
Like that's
unsuspecting
corny. Like
person.
how does that prove that somebody's with the bullshit? You got to
Right.
have somebody bang out for real or really defend themselves. So this was a way where, yo, you try to disrupt the meeting, dudes is knuckling up, we getting it on. Now we know, all right, these dudes is down to fight and they solid. They got some courage, they got some balls. So I always thought that was dope, man, and I wanted to apply it, but at the time that I learned that, it was already we was on some grown man shit. So, I couldn't apply it no more because grown men is gonna fight no matter what. We ain't kids no more. You ain't fucking around with me. You coming to my meeting on that bullshit, we getting at you.
Yeah, you're gonna put
You
your
know what I'm
lights
saying?
out.
Getting
Yeah,
cleaned up.
that's it. Like,
Turn
you
the
lucky
lights
if you
off.
get the hands, you might get batted down or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? But those are some
You might
interesting
get
things. I just
tasered.
want right.
Or a golf
Blackjacked.
club or something.
Uh,
Right. Yeah.
Y'all
But
remember the first time y'all was wearing your beads by yourself when someone asked you about that?
yeah.
yeah.
People used to think I'm blood. Like they were like, East Side, homie. Like every time, like,
I
you
say
know what I
Zulu.
mean? Every time,
hmm
all right. Like
That's why I
Zulu,
always made sure when I had beads, I always like
more
made
black.
sure I would have a medallion attached to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't care to, have just beads on, but I would like to have, because I don't like, like, I don't gotta say nothing. You already know what it is.
Right.
I
Right.
shouldn't have to say what this is. Y'all
Right.
took our colors,
Right.
you know
It
what
was
I'm
And
saying, and
dudes used to
turned
come
it
to
into
me.
what y'all wanted to.
Dudes used to come to me at the Puerto Rican Day Parade. The brothers would be looking dusted too. The homie came up to me like, "Yo, East Side homie." I'm like, "Nah, Zulu." He like, what set is that? I never heard of y'all niggas. Like he thought Zulu was a blood set.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, and then after a while, I started throwing it up with niggas, just clowning niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dudes like spaced out, man. Like, they don't even know what the fuck Zulu Nation was. Um, I don't even know. Crazy.
More,
It's
but
crazy, man. I don't know
yeah.
how we went from Jay-Z to
Shout out to all
to
the, you
Vampire.
know, like we standing with the survivors though.
Yeah,
You know what
always,
I'm
man.
saying?
Always right, wrong, and
And if
like
you
it's
lying, then shame on you.
right, straight up and down. Peace.
Straight
Wow.
up. Peace.
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 yeah. You brought that bet. You brought that bet.
There's a special place.